Hello and welcome. My name is Logan, aka Coding Doctor 101. And today I'm going to show you an introduction to Visual Studio's 2019 C Sharp. So, once you have downloaded Visual Studio's 2019 and you've opened it up, we're going to want to click on Create a New Project. And you're going to get tons of different templates. What we are going to start with is Windows Forms. So up top in the search bar, you're going to want to type in Windows. And as you see, it's the first one that comes up. Make sure it says C Sharp because we are not doing Visual Basic. It's a little outdated in my opinion. So we're going to start with C Sharp. There are several other things we could do. We could do web development in C Sharp, which we'll save for later, probably after Windows Forms and a little after we go over some of the basics of HTML and a little PHP. All right, so back to C Sharp. We're going to click on Windows Forms and we'll click Next. Naming, so I'm going to call mine Tutorial. And then on the solution name, I'm just going to call it, put 1 on there so I know which one it is. And then I'm going to click Create. If you are having trouble seeing this, I'm sorry, Visual Studios does not do well on resizing. Hopefully when we go behind and start doing coding and stuff, it will be a little bit better. All right, there we go. Real fast, I'm going to see if I can get the font size to be a little bigger for y'all. So I'm just going to do Tools, Options, and then Fonts and Colors here. Let's see if I turn that up to 17. I'll hit OK. Does anything get bigger? I don't know. All right. So when I opened mine up, I had the toolbox automatically open and the properties automatically open. So I'm going to close those to give you all a walkthrough on what to do. So if it came up with just a blank form 1, and that's good, that's okay. If you have a Solution Explorer open on your right, that's fine. You can close it. We're not going to get into that just at this moment. So we will cover that a little bit later though. So don't worry. So all we're going to do is we're going to put a label on the form and a button. And all we're going to do is when the button is clicked, we're going to have Hello World show up in the label. That's all we're going to do to get started, and then we'll start diving in just a little bit more deeper. All right, now how to get the toolbox back on. You're going to want to go to View, and then come all the way down to Toolbox. The keyboard shortcut for it is Control-Alt-X. I'm going to open it up. Mine appears on the left side automatically. It could just be floating. If you look on your screen, you have several different little handlers on where it can appear. I'm just going to put mine on the left, and it automatically resizes the screen for me. All right. Now, I'm just going to, in the search bar on the toolbox, I am just going to search for a label. And I'm just going to click and drag it onto the screen. And voila, it shows up on the form 1. Now, I know that's hard to see, so let's make that a little bigger by going into the properties. To open properties, press F4 after you have clicked on the label to select it. So mine is in alphabetical order. So first, let's make this font size a bit better for y'all. So I'm just gonna click on the plus on font to open it up a little bit, and font size, we'll change to 15. That should be a bit better. If not, let's do 20 just to be safe. All right. For name, so this is the name of the label that we can interact with on the behind code. So We don't want to leave it label 1 because you can have multiple labels. You need a good naming system. So I'm just going to call mine LBL text output, because it's going to be outputting some type of text for the user to see. Alright, I'm just going to drag this right here into the middle. And then, let's see, is there anything else we want to do? Yes. So on the text, when you scroll down, you should see text if it's in alphabetical order. And we're just going to clear that out. So, and when you do that, the label shrinks almost where you can't see it. To fix that, we come up to auto size, and we will set it to false. Now that is still hard to see the label, so if you click on back color, we're going to change it to, let's do web, and we do white. So that should be a bit easier to see, and we'll just stretch it out so you can truly see it. Alright. So for where do we want the text to show up in this label? We're going to want to, I personally like it in the true center. So by going to text align, you do middle center. Alright, and that's all we're going to do for that label right there. Next, we need a button. So we're just going to grab a regular button, and we'll drag it onto the screen. And I'm just going to resize it a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. And I'll try and make it about the same size. Once again, I'm going to fix the text size of the button. And I'm going to rename the button to BTN Submit. If you don't like the color of the control, you can go to the back color, the down arrow, under web is just the basic colors that we know of. So let's just do lawn green. Alright, now for text on the button, I'm just going to change it to submit. And that's pretty much it. Now we need to do some actual coding. So to do that, you can double click on the button. And I'm going to pin the toolbox and the properties. And let me zoom out just a bit. Alright. So you can see we're in behind code now. So what all this is the public partial class form1 of form. So this is just where we're at. Then you have private void btn submit underscore click. So when we double clicked on that button, C# was like, okay, you want to do something with it. Let me make you a function to put your code in. And it made a function inside of our class to run the form. So all this is going to do is going to put text in that label. So what we need is the label name. So if we do LBL, and C# will automatically prompt you for the text output. Now, what are we wanting to change on that label? We're wanting to change the text of it. So LBL text output, then we'll press dot, and you get all the items that you can do to that label. We want text, so just text in a tab. We'll do equals the string, so double quotes, hello world, and then semicolon. You have to press semicolon or otherwise it will not work. C# is a little bit different compared to Python. Python is line-based. C# goes all the way to, it sees a semicolon. So no semicolon, you should get a little red squiggly right there. I don't know if you can see it, but for me there's one right there. And that's just to tell you, hey, you're missing your end of line, or this is not finished properly. So by replacing semicolon, we fixed it. And let's try starting it and see what breaks and what doesn't. Cool. Avast has detected a suspicious file, tutorial.exe. So, cool, the file is safe. The file I built is safe. Who knew? Alright, so when we click submit, we see hello world pop up in that text box. And as many times as we can do it, it will still do it. But what if I want to clear that text box? How can I do that? I mean, clear that label. So we'll close this. We'll go back to the design part. Open our toolbox again. And we're just going to close the output because it's not needed. And I want another button. Let's go slide this one over. Actually, the easy way to do it, if you want to be a little bit lazy, but if you want the same properties of your button, and you can just copy and paste, and you get the exact same button, but it has a different name. So I'm just going to call it BTN Clear, and let's change this to a red, which should be up towards the top. There we go. And I'm just going to double click on it. Alright, we're messing with the label again, so LBL text output dot text equals new string. So all this means is that the text is just going to be an empty string. So we're basically clearing the text away. And to see this, we'll start it. Avast is not going to like it. I can still use it. Cool. So when you hit submit, hello world pop. Oh, Avast. Thank you, Avast. All right. When we hit submit, you can see hello world populates inside of that label, and when you hit the red submit, it clears it. So let's change the name of that red submit first. And select it, F4 for properties, and we're going to change the text to clear. Let's get a little bit more fancy. So we need our toolbox, and this time I am going to actually get a text box. And I'm just going to drag and drop right here. Oh, over a little bit. Make this a bit bigger. And F4 for properties. And we're going to change the font size to 20 again. Alright. And I'm just going to change this to TBX input. For the name, we don't need any text in there. We want single lined. Alright. So what we're going to try and do is make whatever we type in this text box appear in this label. And when we hit submit, we want to clear the text box. But first, we need to take the text out of it and put it in the label. So let's try that. So all we're going to do is double click on our submit again, and it takes us back to our or on click event. So I'm just going to erase this and this here. Actually, we don't need to delete the btn clear click. So for now, when we are submitting it, we need to take the text out of the text box and put it into the label. So it's going to be lbl text output dot text equals the text of our input. So if we do tbx text input dot text, that will work. But that's not the best way to handle it, in my opinion. I prefer to do it this way. So I'm going to declare a variable. It's going to be string. I'm just going to call it input text equals, and it's going to equal this tbx input dot text. Either way, so we could go this route right here. It would work, but I like having a variable form of it that I'm touching. It's just preference. When you get into bigger projects, the variable is better to use. So now we have taken the text from our text box and put it into the label. Now we need to clear the text box. And to do that is just tbx input dot text equals our empty string. And that's it. So I will hit start. We're going to see my Avast freak out over a new file that's being created. And now we'll wait the few seconds for Avast to continue to freak out. And yep, I will try and have that fixed by the next video. That way we don't have to be interrupted as we're going over a tutorial. Alright, so if I type in hello, and we hit submit, it now shows up in the label. Now what if I do some random stuff and hit submit? You can see that hello is being overwritten every time. And that's fine. We don't want to see old text right now. And then when we hit clear, it clears that label. So that's all for today. It's just a little very, very simple, very basic web form application. Next video, we'll start diving in with more variables and doing just a little bit more complicated stuff. But we'll try and keep with just a few buttons, a text box, and the label. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please like and subscribe. And I hope you have a good day. See you later.